welcome back to One Humble Nut. Hope you have had a great Easter weekend or a long weekend or whatever you've done. It's really nice weather here, so I think everyone's just in a nice good sunny mood right now, which is perfect. So today we are going to go and learn how to make, we're doing two things. We're going to learn how to make a cross satchel bag. Nice little for a daily use, little festival, whatever you like. Today we're going to be using this yellow yarn. It's just your general hobby craft, home brand, I guess. Cotton blend, which is really nice. It's got a nice kind of cotton texture to it. So it's 50% cotton and acrylic. I'm not out here being able to spend a full cotton prices. So a nice blend is great. It's in a nice lovely yellow color, so if you want to do a nice big replica, I've got it here. I'll put all the information down at the bottom as well. But what we're also going to do is learn how to read a pattern. So the nice thing is, a lot of the time, the pattern that I'll put right here, when you read a crochet pattern, the key that you see, so the images that you see, are more universal than the verbiage itself. So as you may know by now, a treble crochet is different to a double crochet in the UK versus the US, but the symbols for the two of them, a UK treble crochet is the same as the US double crochet, but they use the same symbols. So that's our little loophole, I guess, in this whole thing, is if you're just reading off a pattern, which sometimes I find personally a little bit easier, you can, sorry, I'm setting up my computer at the same time, should have been a bit more organized. You can actually look at this one pattern and figure out where to go. So what we're going to do, in the middle, you can see that there's 5 little circles. We're just getting right into this, by the way. So that is 5 chain stitch. So instead of doing a magic ring, we're starting the granny square with a chain stitch. So as we know how to do, loop right through, and we're going to chain stitch 5. 1, by the way, I am using my 3mm crochet hook. I'm just wanting the granny square to be a bit of a tighter one, opposed to using a 4.5 or a 5. Then it doesn't show you the slip stitch dot on this one, but typically there's just a small dot. You'll see that actually on row 1, that there is a dot, and that's your slip stitch dot. You will always assume that there is going to be one when it comes to a granny square, so we just go through. Let's make sure you can see, we just go through this little bit right here. So our first one, pull, and just pull it through. Okay, so the next part that we're going to do is we're going to chain 3. So our little circles, like we know with our chain 5, we're going to start this row 1 by chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. Now, this is when we start getting, I've got my little, I don't have my littlest marker, but I have a marker in. Our tail, we're actually going to crochet this in as well, so that's something to keep in mind. So our first one is, I'm going to do this all in UK standard, so just so you're aware, that's what I'm going to be referring to. So we're going to be doing a treble crochet. On there is 15 treble crochets. So when you see one that has 15, more times than not, they're actually treating the chain as a magic ring, but it's just easier. It's removing that extra layer of doing your single crochets, or makes the whole thing a little bit easier to do than doing trebles right away. So we're actually, instead of going into like our first stitch and doing, splitting it up in between, because that's not going to be even, we're doing 15 treble, and we've got this chain stitch. If we had 15, depends how each person wants to do it, but we could do 3 in each and then go around. But typically when a pattern tells you to do it, your first one's inside, it's actually got the bottom of the arrow of the key line is normally in there. I'll try and get a little example somewhere here so you can see the comparison. So we're going to do 15 treble crochets just straight into the loop. So we've just done our 15, and if you wanted to, I always find the first loop isn't too bad to find where you started from and everything, so I don't always put in a little marker, but you can. And we're back to our chain 3. So at the very top we've got 1, 2, 3. At this very top one we do a slip stitch to make this nice circle. You may have extra in your tail as well. We can come back at the end, feed it back through in the opposite direction, as you saw I had it with my finger, so treat it as the full circle to get it blended in there. Or if you want, you can also cut it off here and it will be fine as well. So that's up to personal preference. Once I've kind of done the chain, you might have seen that I was kind of pushing it all to one side. That just helps me fit them all in. And then you just, spread it out, move it around a bit, and it looks a bit better from there. Next, as you can see, on top of our chain 3, we're doing another chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, right back to the top again. So if you wanted to at this step, you could put one in, a little mark in or not. Next, we're going to, you will see it is, so we chain 1 and then treble crochet in the stitch. So we're not skipping a stitch, because you can see that the point, wherever I've got it here, you can see that the point of the bottom of, say, the T shape, the crochet shape, goes into the top of the other one. If there was one missed, so you had one there, one missed, then you know you're skipping one. But we know we're just doing a chain and then we're going into the next one. So we've got our treble, chain 3, sorry. We're going to chain a 4th. And we've just got to move this around a bit. Okay, so that's the top of our one there. And we've got our next guy right here. So we went 1, 2, 3, chain our 4th, treble crochet right through. We're not doing a rib or anything. If you're doing a rib, you'll just go in the back, but we're going right through as per normal. And now a chain, and then keep going. I always find the first one to kind of be the hardest one to figure out of the row. when you get to the end, do a nice little count as well, just to make sure you've got the right number. Turns out when I did it, I did an extra one. So at the end, we've done our last crochet, our chain, and then once again, it's a slip stitch. This time we've got that dot there. It's a bit hard to see, but you can see next to the chain 1 and our start of our chain 3. So go 1, 2, 3 into this one and slip right through. Perfect. It's looking like a cute little sun right now. It's quite pretty. Next one, we are going to chain 3 again. 2, 3. Perfect. Then we are, so it'll be 2 treble crochet in the chain and then 1 treble crochet right above the one before. You can see that both of the bottom tails of the treble crochet on the chain is pointed towards it. Now, everyone's a little bit different. Some people will say, no, you've got to go right in this little gap here. I'm more of a go in the big gap here because it will create a weird pull sometimes, and I prefer the look of it going right through. It's also a little bit easier. And I feel like crocheting is just about the vibes. So we go 1 treble crochet in here, 2, and then also I didn't find the middle of this yarn for this one, and I'm a bit upset, so I have to do the good old unravel. And then we go right in the middle part here. Oh, looks like I'm caught on another bit of yarn. And then we're going to rinse and repeat this all the way around. So 2 in the gap, and then 1 above. Now we've just gone into the end where we've done 2. Sorry, I was moving a bit, but it's looking Quite loving this little shape. It's coming together. Once again, you guessed it, another slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3, nice little slip stitch through. Perfect. Now obviously if you're using thicker yarn, sorry, just need to move around a bit. Thicker yarn, it's going to look a little bit different. A bigger hook, it's going to look different again. So if you're doing the same, now we're back at the start again. What we're going to do is, this part may look a little bit confusing because you're used to doing the chain 3. Well, instead, in this, because we've got our original chain 3 is right here. We can see it's a bit different because it looks more braided. We're going to do a single crochet in this spot here. And now I'm going to actually so this may look a little bit confusing because you can see we've got a double crochet right to begin with. It is a plus sign, so a double crochet can either be a plus sign or it's a cross sign. Double crochet in the UK, for US it's your single crochet, so you can see it in different ways. Each pattern will be a little bit different. Later on you'll see them next to each other, like a cross and like a plus sign and a time sign right next to each other. It's just to show that they're at different points, you know. It'll make a lot more sense later on. Let's just deal with this one. So what we're going to do is a double crochet straight right on top. We want to keep it nice and centered on top, so we are going back into the one that we just did the slip stitch through. And then I'm actually going to mark this one because it's so much closer to the bottom. I know me, I might miss it. So next we're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the first one. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to skip 2 of our treble crochet. So we go skip 1. Let's make sure this is nice and focused in. So we skip 1, we skip 2, we're going into number 3. And we just do a double crochet. Okay. And then we're going to chain 3. So go 1, 2, 3. And then we skip 2 and do in our third. So 1, 2, do it in our third one. Sorry, double crochet in our third one. So we're making these little loops. And then we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip 2, put it in our third one once again. So another double crochet. And now we chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3. We skip 1, 2, go double crochet in our third one. And now for each one. And now we're back to 5. So that's our little pattern is 5, 3, 4, 3, and then you go back to 5. Sorry, this is the first time I'm actually reading this pattern as well. So I thought it would be a nice little learning curve together. So let's go 5. So we've just done the end and we've gone around and done our repetition of chain 5, chain 3, chain 4, chain 3, and then back to 5. And we're on our last 3. And we know we've done it correct because we're at our last 3. We've got our first one right here. That is our double crochet is right here. And we've ended with a 3. We're starting with a 5. I was a bit panicked, but we got there. So get it out, and we know to do a slip stitch right here, right through. Perfect. So we've got our little, it looks like these are going to be our main corners. It looks like, is it Jigglypuff? I think it is. I think that's what I'm thinking of. A little Pokemon character. This was in light pink. There we go. Okay, so now on our next row, we're getting there, over halfway. This is when you're going to start seeing the shape of it all kind of come more together. We've done our circles, now we're getting all the pretty little edges coming in. So, as you can see, it's going to be back to our chain 3. We're back to the original. So let's go ahead and chain 3, 2, 3. Now, if you feel like you need to do a chain, like a marker, you can. I'm feeling pretty safe with our chain 3s. Obviously, completely up to you. And then what we are doing is it's going to be treble crochet for 4, and then we're doing chain 3. Now, because there's so many, instead of going into the gap, we're doing the same what we did earlier. We just go straight into the hole, opposed into the stitch. This will make sure we can move it around, make it even. So I believe we're treating this first chain 3 by the looks of it as its own treble stitch, hence doing 3. So let's start doing 4 trebles. Oh gosh, that was a bad start. Let's start again. Now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you can see on the other side we have 5 trebles. So that confirms that our first one, our chain 3 at the very beginning, is treated as a treble. It's always the case, but always nice to know that confirmation. Before I go on, I do want to say, I know you probably see this, the yarn slipping. This is why they recommend more of a 5. It can hook on, not too bad, but obviously a bigger hook, if I did a 3.5 or a 4, it would hook on better and wouldn't slip as much. But that's just what I kind of decided to do for this, and, you know, consequences of my actions, I guess. So we've just done our first little corner. And then you can see that the next one is a double crochet nicely right in the middle here. I'm not going to try go into that stitch. I'm just going to go right in the center. So once again, I can move it all along if I want to. So that's in where we did our chain 3. Now we're in the section where we did our chain 4, and we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total treble crochets in our next one. We've done our 7. And then we do our double crochet where we had chain 3. We're back to our next chain 5. So we're just going to repeat what we did in our first one. But instead of starting off with 4, we're going to just do 5, chain 3, and another 5 because we don't have that beginning chain 3 as our stand-in. So we're just treating it like normal. So we do our first 5 treble crochets. Right. Chain 3, and we do the next 5. Double crochet in where we had our chain 3, and now we do another 7 for our chain 4. And we're going to complete that. Okay, so we just got in and did, oh, I got this the wrong way around. There we go. So we've just done the last double crochet in the last 3, and then we are going to slip stitch like normal on chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and we slip stitch. Perfect. So now we can start seeing that there is corners being made. If you're ever making your own granny square and you're wanting to make it a square, pick 4 sides evenly and just increase the most on those. And that's how you get corners. It's really nice and easy. Kind of makes sense when you think about it, right? Now, on this pattern, you can see it has a different yellow color. They're just saying that maybe you want to change colors, or it's just showing you the second half of it. Either or, completely up to you. For this, I want to keep it all the same color. I'm really liking this yellow quite a lot, and I think it'll look really cute once I've done the end product. If you wanted to keep your granny square with like more of this, scalloped edge, you could definitely do that as well. Could be a cute little doily or anything like that, or you could join a few together, but we're going to make it a square. So we're going to start off this time just chain 2, and then from this chain 2, we got 1, 2, we're going to chain an additional 4. So we go 1, oh, slip down, 2, 3, 4, and then this is where I was talking earlier about how you have a cross, like a plus and a times symbol for your double crochet. So it's right in this little loop right here. We're doing 1 double crochet, and then we chained 3, and then we do our second double crochet. So that's just showing you the reason why was to show you that it was the start and it was 2 different points of the stitch. Sometimes when you got a few double crochets together, they will be the exact same symbol. So it's just showing you that they're different points of the pattern. Now we've got another chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then right where we had a little 3 in this guy right here, where we did our double crochet, we're doing a treble crochet. Okay, and then we're doing another chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and we're doing a double crochet in our middle treble. So there should be a 7th one in there. There isn't a 7th one. This is what we do with crochet. So I've only got 6, so I'm going to treat like there's a 7th in there. I'm going to do my double in the middle. This one's just going to be a little bit different. We go 1, 2, 3. We got our next chain 3, and then on top of our double crochet, we're doing our treble crochet. And then we chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see we're back at where we started off. So we crocheted 4, we do a double in our corner. So we chain 4, double in the corner, chain 3, another double, and then we're gonna chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we do our treble on top of our double. This one's curling up a little bit. You can always, pull it out, flatten it out a bit. I'm not big on doing the washing it and then flattening it out, but that's all each to your own right there. And then now we're going to do our final loop. And what we're going to do is chain 3. And then we're going to do 4 treble crochets in this first loop. Yeah. And then we're going to do 3 treble crochets in the corner. And then chain 3, another 3 treble crochets in the same corner, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the next loop. Sorry. Sorry, I was holding a bit out of screen. So we just did 5 in the next loop. And then we do another 3. Two. Now next one we're doing another 3, so you can kind of see where the tails of the T shape is ending to show you which loops you're doing your crochets in. Computer just timed out with the pattern on there. The next one we have 5. Oh. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're back at the corner again. So we do our 3, chain 3, and do the same. We'll do this around. Right now, you may have guessed, we're making our border. So we're cleaning it all up and making our little border. So we just keep going around. Okay, so you would have made a full square, and then once again we're doing a slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3, slip stitch on 3 like always. But we'll be doing for most of them. And that's going to be your square right there. I actually don't have my scissors with me, which is very annoying. But, you know, tie it off as usual. This one you could probably do a shorter little... Oh, there we go. So, pull it through. Now, we're going to be joining a few of these together. You know, if you wanted to wash these, pull them out a bit, let them settle, get them to a perfect square, you can. I'm not too fazed by mine. I think it's fine. And yeah, we'll be back with how many you need and the next steps on making the bag. Okay, perfect. So now we've finished our first granny square. We're going to be doing this 4 more times. In the next video, we'll go over how to make something as simple as a granny square into a really cute cross bag. So please like and subscribe so you get a nice little notification and all that stuff, and that way you can see the next video on how to transfer this into a bag. But thank you for watching and see you next time.